Today is Wednesday, August 28th. This is Noreen Johnson, and here are the good news headlines of the day. Governor Greg Abbott announced on Monday that Texas has purged 1.1 million names from voting rolls since the 2020 presidential election after the state found them to be ineligible. Abbott wrote this in a statement: "Election integrity is essential to our democracy. I have signed the strongest election laws in the nation to protect the right to vote and to crack down on illegal voting that has led to the removal of over 1 million ineligible people from our voter rolls in the last 3 years, including non-citizens, deceased voters, and people who moved to another state. The largest group of Texas residents disqualified in the audit are people who have failed to properly confirm their residential address in the state. More than 463,000 individuals were included in this category, with the second being deceased people still included on the voting rolls, which numbered more than 457,000. The governor's office said approximately 6,500 non-citizens were purged from the rolls, and almost 2,000 of those non-citizens are alleged to have cast votes in past elections. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump spoke out against the latest indictment brought against him by special counsel Jack Smith on Tuesday, calling it a direct assault on democracy. The new indictment pares down the allegations against Trump in the wake of a Supreme Court ruling that gives presidents broad immunity for official acts, yet keeps those 4 charges for efforts in trying to subvert the 2020 election. Trump argues the entire case should be thrown out in the wake of the High Court's decision. In a series of posts to Truth Social, he called it an effort to resurrect a dead witch hunt and save face. Here is one of his statements. "The illegally appointed special counsel, deranged Jack Smith, has brought a ridiculous new indictment against me, which has all the problems of the old indictment and should be dismissed immediately. This is merely an attempt to interfere with the election and distract the American people from the catastrophes Kamala Harris has inflicted on our nation." And then this: House Republicans are investigating whether the Harris-Biden administration inappropriately pressured an international group of medical experts to do away with age limit guidelines for transgender procedures, including gender-changing surgery for minors. In reference to a June report in the New York Times alleging that Rachel Levine, the Assistant Secretary for Health at the Department of Health and Human Services, urged the World Professional Association for Transgender Health to remove age limit recommendations for transgender surgical procedures over concerns that it could limit access to the operations in the U.S. McClain requested all documents and communications between Levine, who identifies as transgender, and her staff with WPATH and a number of other medical groups related to transgender medical procedures as part of her panel's investigation. In her arguments, McClain made this point: "The Biden administration's advocacy for expanding the pool of vulnerable children subjected to life-altering procedures they may later regret is reprehensible. Even emails indicating that this advocacy was done for political advantage, possibly to satisfy extremist elements of its base, is even more outrageous." Harrison Butker is speaking out again on social media about his religious beliefs, this time in relation to abortion and protecting the unborn, while also taking issue with former President Donald Trump on the same matter. The Kansas City Chiefs star kicker took to X to critique a comment made by the former president about women and reproductive rights, and to directly address J.D. Vance on the issue of the Republican Party's stance on abortion. J.D. Vance recently told NBC's Meet the Press that Donald Trump would veto a national abortion ban, and that the former president wants to end this culture war over this topic particularly. Butker has emerged as one of the U.S.'s most famous Catholic sports persons, taking crucial field goals for his team while becoming increasingly outspoken on the issue of protecting the unborn. And then today, August 28th, marks the feast day of St. Augustine. He served as a church priest, a bishop, and a theologian during the early 400s. In the centuries since his death, he has remained an important figure in Christianity, serving as an inspiration for those who struggle with their faith and with temptation. Also known as Augustine of Hippo, he was canonized in 1303 by Pope Boniface VIII. St. Augustine, pray for us. And those are your daily good news headlines. This is Catholics for Catholics. May God bless you, and may God bless the USA.